ambitions, like, before we get into all that kind of stuff, and sort of what your ambitions were as a young guitarist and stuff like that. I mean, you didn't immediately...
What, in the initial stages, you mean?
Yeah, sort of, you didn't go immediately into a group, or...
No. Although I did play, once I started getting a few chords together and a few licks together, I was searching feverishly for other musicians to play with, that's for sure. But I couldn't find any. It wasn't as though there was an abundance like there are today. And I used to play with many groups on and off, anyone that could get a gig together, really,
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
This is like before Neil Christian and those people.
Just before Neil Christian.
Right, yeah.
It was Neil Christian who saw me playing in a local hall, and he suggested that I play in his band. Well, I liked to play in his band, which was in London. I lived in the suburbs, it's a big thing with me,
Where were you from? You were from the suburbs?
Yeah. So the 15-year-old guitarist went marching up to London with his guitar. And I played with him for a few years.
What sort of got you interested in guitar playing? Was it just hearing it on record, or?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen many records that are supposed to have turned me on to want to play, but it was played with Let's Play House, Presley.
Yeah.
You've got to understand that in those days, rock was such a dirty word. It wasn't even being played by the media. They just wouldn't play it. When I said they wouldn't play it, maybe you'd hear one record a day.
But it wasn't really till the Beatles that...
Oh, no, it broke well before the Beatles. But, during the period that those records were coming out, we got in this morning, Jerry Lee Lewis records, you'd hear about one record a day. That's why you were forced to be a record collector, if you wanted to get to be part of it. Now, I heard that record, and I just wanted to be part of it. I knew something was going on. I heard an acoustic guitar and a slap bass and an electric guitar, the three instruments, and my voice, and it seemed to generate so much energy that I just thought, there's something happening here and I want to be part of it. And that's when I started. Mind you, it took a long time before I got anywhere. I mean, by that I mean started to get any sort of dexterity.
You didn't pick it up really fast? I mean, you weren't...
Well, yeah, I mean, I could pick it up as fast as... I was only learning off of records. I mean, I used to get Ricky Nelson records to pinch the James Burton licks, and each new plays it. When I used to sort of learn the note for note perfect, and used to get B.B. King records, but all those that was just the early stages. And then after a while, I guess after one writes one's first song or something, you tend to depart from all that when your own style starts coming through.
Yeah,
it's inevitable. Sure. You've got to have some sort of framework to work on.
Yeah. So how old were you when you left Neil Christian and started really going into doing sessions, and how did you get into doing sessions?
Well, I left Neil Christian when I was about 17, I guess. 16 and a half, 17. I went to art college for 18 months. And then during that period I was jamming at night at the blues club, because by that time it had just started to happen. And of course I already knew all this sort of music, And so I used to go up and jam with the interval band. Somebody asked me to, I'd like to play on a record. And then before I knew where I was doing all these sort of studio dates at night and going to art college in the daytime. And it was a crossroads, Now you know what one I took.
And what about the gig that Samuel Smith departed on?
Oh, yeah. One at Oxford in Marquee too. The undergraduates in penguin suits. He just got really drunk and fell into the drum kit and was making farting noises into the mic and being generally anarchistic, you know. Very much like Johnny Rotten tries to do now. But he, I thought he'd done really well actually, and the band had played very well actually that night. But he just added all this extra thing into it, you know. And when he came on stage, Sam Watson said, "Well, I'm leaving the band." Everything seemed to be so final in that band. It was sort of rethinking it. Going back on decisions like that, major decisions. But anyway, I'm leaving the band. If I was you, Keith, I'd leave too. To which he didn't. And they were sort of stuck. Now Jeff had run me to the gig in his car and he was running me back. And I'd already said, I'll sit anything I say you can. I think at that time I said until you can get sorted out. But then on the way back in the car, he'd often, actually, think about it, he'd often said, "It'd be really great if you could join the band." But I just didn't think that it was a possibility in any way. I mean, plus the fact that I turned it down a couple of times, I didn't know what sort of feeling the rest of them would have about that, you know. Anyway, it was decided that we'd definitely have a go at it, and I'd take on the bass for so long. So I didn't want to stay on bass, obviously. And then Brad would take over as soon as he could get it together, because he'd never picked up a bass before either. But except that, well, I guess it was going to be easy for me to do it anyway.